Welcome to our weekly 8FM book clubs, Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And we are continuing on today with chapter 2 of The Millionaire Messenger by Brendon Burchard. And this one, I'm loving these short chapters, first of all. It's like a page and a half. And this one is Behind the Guru Curtain. And just kind of framing off of like how he started the book, where he shared his story and how he had this near-death experience and how that kind of brought out this kind of inner purpose that he was trying to figure out how to share with people. And this book is like, it's so close to home for us because we're all entrepreneurs here, going out there into the marketplace, using online marketing to share our message. Like that's what we're all doing here. So it's kind of cool to read a book that directly talks about it, because, he mentions like these gurus, like, Tony Robbins and like all these speakers like Deepak and Wayne Dyer and all these people. But I find it kind of interesting, like I kind of like almost giggle when he writes about online marketing and like online courses and things like that, because that's our space and that's what we do. And it really makes me think about, this whole expert field that we're all in, because we, coming from this, at least for myself, the standpoint of going to school. I went to school for history. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought maybe I would become a teacher because I didn't know what else I was going to do with my life. And then kind of from there, jumping from job to job and then becoming a personal trainer. Like I did so many things, but I know inside I always wanted something different that I was looking for. And then going down this entrepreneurial path, it's such a different world, because it's like we learn and we, adapt these new skills that are not, in that traditional sense where you go to school and you take a course. This is like you're thrown into it. You're thrown online and you just got to do it and you just got to figure it out. And the skills and the all that stuff comes from doing it, right? From experiencing, from getting results, from going out there and actually implementing. And at the same time, we kind of accredit ourselves with, skills and all of these things that we need to share, right? We make ourselves the experts in something we choose. And it's so different from school, because school directs you towards a certain direction. But here, we're the ones literally choosing which way we want to go, what we want to specialize in. And I think it's interesting that I actually haven't never looked at it, but this whole like expert course that he created, and how to take these, how to be a motivational speaker and how to sell online courses and all of this stuff is just really interesting. And I think it's cool that he fulfills a need in the marketplace, because that's what we're all doing here as entrepreneurs. We're finding a problem and a need in the marketplace, and we're solving that problem. And he's definitely taken that, because he looked at the gurus and thought, I'm going to apply this information to me, but he's also thinking of what they're doing and how he can do the same thing and be like them, not just learn from them. And I know one shift for me in Empower was not only looking at, like leaders like David Wood or Lawrence Tam, but, sorry, I have a hair in my mouth, learning from them, but also looking at them at what they're doing and modeling that in terms of us doing the same thing, because we're all building our own community and our own network. And so it's this kind of like two-layered kind of thing, because we're simultaneously learning, right? Learn, do, teach. And at the same time, not just listening to what they're saying, but modeling what they're doing in their business as the business model. So I think it's cool that he brought that into this, and that really hit me there. So I don't know, Kathy, if you want to come out and what, your thoughts and feedback.
Yeah, it's amazing how to hear you get what you got out of it, because I had looked at it a total different way. It's amazing how he just shared his story. That's all. Why don't we just share our story? That's all. That's all he did. I don't believe it till today. To share just your story. That's what he did. That's what he does. And he he makes a lot of money with that also. That's also a nice beside that, but only to share the story of your life. So that's, and I agree with you, Kat, to model our great leaders in our industry in a power. I also do that, and I'm learning, I'm doing, I'm teaching a little bit now, but just to share the story. That's what I got out of it. That's the only thing. Share your story. So.
Oh, Kathy, you're muted. Let me just unmute you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So he started out where he just shared his story with a few people, and then they said, "Oh, well, we want you to tell this story to the whole." I think it was a sorority house or something. The whole group of people, and then it just built on from there. It wasn't like he was trying to do it. It just kind of naturally happened because he had such a story. So I thought that was interesting. And then I don't know if I think this might have been in the next chapter, but he was talking about gurus, and he was talking about specifically Frank Kern, and I didn't know anything about how Frank Kern got to where he is. But apparently he started as a dog trainer, and then he put his training online, and because he did that, people said, "Oh, how did you do that? Show me how." And so then he ended up making these products and how to take things online for millions of dollars. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize he started just a simple thing as, how do I put my dog training online so I can reach more people? So I enjoyed reading that story and hearing more about how these people that you think of, oh, wow, they've made millions of dollars. Well, what did they do? They started simple, telling a story, telling how they do what they do. So I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually didn't know that about Frank Kern, so that's how he started. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like this is why I love this book. Like it's like short chapters, but we all pull something a little bit different, right? That's why we have such great discussions. I just find it like really, really fascinating that it started off with that simple kind of idea, right? Where it's like, it's about you going out and sharing with the world, and then people will resonate with the story and take away and have that inspiration. And then I think it's cool that, because it's the same thing. It's like this whole like Frank Kern thing. It's like, because even for us in our business, people want to know how we built our business and are inspired by the story, but then want to know how they can replicate that, right? And it's like, that's exactly what he's done, where he simultaneously learned from these gurus, but at the same time, he was already gathering information, almost like he knew that the path he was heading down was he's going to teach people how to become an expert, because he saw that need in the market, because there was no one place that he could get this one thing, because it was so dispersed across all this info. And I don't know, I just think it's cool that he simultaneously did that, where he created like his future products almost, because he's gathering information about how he was becoming an expert and getting his message out, and getting his message out, and then teaching how they can get their message out. It's really funny because it's just so like on topic, but yesterday I got an email from an email subscriber, and we have like a webinar series in our email follow-up series. And he's like trying to get started online, and he's asking kind of, he doesn't know what niche and he doesn't know where to get started. He's never really done anything. And he's like, so you're teaching people in webinars how to like, kind of like, you're teaching them how to do this, and then teaching, like, it's like this thing where it's like this circle, where you're showing people how to sell by selling them. Like, the thing is, the webinar series sells at the end, but at the same time, we're teaching how to sell. And so it's like this twofold thing. And it kind of tripped me up when we first started doing it, but I realized that is what we're doing online, because we're literally showing people in our webinars how we built our business, and simultaneously selling them into our business by showing them the strategies of how we built our business. Right? It's like this funny thing, because, you know, for people watching, they're like, oh, cool, like that's how I can do it too. And I want to know more information from you, so I'm going to buy more information from you. but we're literally showing them how to do it as well in the webinars. So it's like this funny thing, because it's this double layer where two things are happening, because we're like showing them how to do it, but then they're being sold into the product from the webinars. So it's like this funny, I don't know, it's just, yeah, like this is totally hitting on point for us because this is what we do. We also show people how to come online and how to build their business. So it's kind of so funny. Hey, Terry, welcome. You're coming in on a really awesome discussion here. I don't know, Via, if you have anything, or Kathy, to comment on that.
Yeah, I wonder, do you just share your story, or you share the how-to?
Both.
How to build. Both, yeah.
Because on the front we share our story.
I think it's...
Sorry, we have a leg. Go on.
I think that's a more natural way. People like stories. So when they are into your story, they want to buy also. And they know, because you tell your story, they know they can tell their story, and everybody has a story to tell. So I think I have to do storytelling more.
Well, storytelling is also how to sell. Like there's this story selling, right? So we tell our story at the front, and then we continue to story tell throughout. It's like through our webinars, or like him telling his story as the starting point to the book. But then now kind of, it seems, because I haven't read the whole book, but he's going to start to get into strategies of how to sell that story.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like those two layers of the business where you're sharing your own passion and your own vision with people and helping them find that passion and vision, and then simultaneously helping them get that passion and vision out to more people. It's like this double layer kind of thing happening.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting into my passion more and more, I think. So that's what I get out so far. But Terry, I don't know if you...
Yeah. Good to see you all. Yeah, it's been such a good reminder to share my story more, and I realized that I've sort of haven't been doing videos so much over the last little bit, and that's just such a wonderful way to tell your story. I mean, you can do it written as well, but it's just like video, everything comes across, your whole sort of way of being. I was realizing that, for telling our stories, video is just such a medium that makes it more powerful than just the written word. So I've been thinking about that, and thinking about making that effort to do more videos and just share my story. And something that Muriel also said recently was around how, when you're telling your stories and you're sharing, especially on video, it's like you're sharing your brand, like you're branding yourself, because it always reflects your values and what you're about. And it's sort of like, without having a name of a brand or a logo, but you just sharing your story becomes a really big part of you kind of creating a brand around yourself. So that's just something I've been thinking about as well. Like just the act of sharing your stories impacts your brand big time. I've actually read I've loved the book so much that I kept reading. So I didn't manage to go back and skim through the actual chapter to reflect on this particular chapter. But I'm just absolutely loving it. It's a really good reminder of many things. And then let's do it that way around. Rather than the other way around.
Thank you, Terry, and welcome, Alicia and Robert. Thanks for coming out. So we're just continuing on our discussion on chapter 2. But if you have anything you want to add or anything about the book, I don't know. Alicia looks like you're walking around.
How was it?
Robert, I don't know if you wanted to come out. You're unmuted right now.
Not today.
Not today? Okay, no worries. I'll just mute you up for now. So yeah, I mean, Terry, yeah, it's like, it's funny because like I mean, I was terrified to do video when we first started and had to force myself and really like shooting. I remember I would challenge myself to do like a 30-day video challenge, and then I would go every day and I shoot like a 2-3 minute video. And I was so like, who am I talking to? Like, who is this video for? So I just started shooting it as though I was talking to my older self and just kept doing that. And then as I got more comfortable talking to like a friend, and then it just sort of naturally developed where I just forgot in a way that I guess I was on camera. And then I was able to start to incorporate actual video structure and like actually hitting on certain kind of outlines of videos. But it took a while to get to that point before I could get comfortable in just even speaking in front of the camera where it would feel natural. But I know that even for our business has impacted it a lot, because our branding, it's like people always just say, you know, I relate so much to you when I see you on video and just the way you are. And that is like the foundation to kind of our brand. And that's what people resonate with. And I remember it was always weird, like going to events like for Empower and having people come up to me that had watched videos, and then they feel like they know me, but I don't really know who they are. And it was like this weird kind of shift where I started to see like that is what happens with your audience, where they start to feel like they really know you, and they really know who you are, and they relate so much, and they have anecdotes in their head of how they relate to certain stories you share, but you don't know that at all about them unless they share it with you. So it's this cool kind of thing, and definitely a huge part of it. So it's just really, this is like really bringing me back to when we started and how it was, and like that kind of transition, and coming online and getting into this whole like expert kind of industry, I guess. I like the way he calls it that, not guru, but like being an expert in your own kind of sense. Alicia, I don't know if you want to come out, if you're able to, if you want to. Oh, you're walking. Oh, you're muted. I'll unmute you.
I'm sorry. I'm still not sure of, the book. So I'm just here to listen and get what I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I love Terry's insights. Terry's awesome on reading ahead and catching up for me. So I appreciate that, because I'm like overwhelmed with mindfulness right now and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I'm reading the one thing. And so I think I'm a little overwhelmed with books. I need to focus on this one and get things going. So appreciate that. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Kat.
Thanks for being here. And actually, like side note, because Terry and I were speaking earlier, this book, because it's short, it's like, it's very consumable. Like each chapter, if you do check it out, and Janie actually shared a copy of it, Alicia, in the chat. And literally a chapter is a page and a half, but it's actually a really good book for discussion. So it's not even necessarily a reading book. It's like a discussion book. And I like it. I like this setting. It's like the perfect book for our book club. Because somehow we were reading Money Master the Game, and it was so big, but we were running out of things to talk about. Whereas here, a page and a half, we have like so much content we could fill, that we could keep talking about it, right? So it's like a perfect discussion book. Because I'm the same as you, Alicia. I'm reading like 5 books at a time, like different things in different places. So totally get it. But thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And Kathy, V, I don't know if you want to pop out, anything you want to add, or anything else you want to say, anything coming to mind? No. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so and I don't want to also just keep talking. We have a few minutes left though, so I am really excited to get into what else he goes into this as the book continues. And I love that it's very simple. Like the concepts he's talking about are simple, but it's really making me think a lot about our business. It's making me think a lot about what we're doing, because even for us, we are also creating our own courses and our own workshop. And it's the same idea. It's like we're teaching people how to market online and it's like the same thing. It's just it's just like a portion of what he does, because he also teaches speakers and kind of like people going into the expert industry kind of across the board, whereas we're more in the online space and kind of focusing on automation and things like that. So it's really making me think, because we are passing that on in terms of skills, and then the same idea, you know, saying share your story, and it is about you and your story, and that's kind of the starting point, because that is the starting point. And that, because your story will lead to that kind of direct link to your passion, and I feel like that passion reveals to you your next steps. Like it's like a process of discovery, not so much where you just decide kind of like how everything is going to lay out. For us, has been the opposite, where it reveals itself as we go. And for example, like video, I never thought I was going to be doing video. Most of my life, I was like shy. I was introverted. There was no way I would have ever considered that I would be on video and trainings and all of this. It was like the furthest thing from my mind. And then we come online, and all of a sudden I'm like doing videos and starting to really love it. And then it's become a passion, but I never would have known if I hadn't actually done it, right? And so it's this weird thing that it's like I'm just discovering these things that I never knew I would ever even do. And it's like revealing itself to me as I go. So I think it's this cool kind of path, and it's so different from that traditional way of doing things, right? Like going to school, you know, choosing your program, and then what career you're going for. Whereas here, I mean, I don't know. I have vision, but I don't know exactly where I'll be in 5 years or 10 years, exactly how my business will be. I just know that it's going to keep unfolding and getting bigger, and I'll see. I'll see what kind of skill sets and stuff I'll take on and what else I'll learn. And I'm excited about that. And I like that. It's like, you know, everyone's probably heard the quote that the purpose is to kind of discover your gift and then give it away, right? And that's what I feel like this whole thing is. And we're kind of like that gift, like we're unraveling constantly and unwrapping that's within us. So I think it's really cool. Yeah. This is really like a hit home kind of book.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kat. When I first, on my first event, I saw everybody taking videos, and I never had made a selfie. Just a picture. I never did that. So I made my first selfie in Nashville last year, and later on videos also. The challenge from Brian Couch, 50 videos in 48 hours, that helped me come over all of it. So, and also the story. I think about my story now a lot, and what's my passion really. So I've got a lot out of it, and we don't know where we are about 5 years, but I think we are on the right path now.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome you did that challenge. I didn't take Brian's challenge, but that's amazing. That's a lot of videos. But yeah, probably like by like how many videos is it? His 50? 50.
It's 50 in 48 hours.
Oh wow.
And that, and also different topics. Every 10 videos you have to do different topics.
Cool. So probably by what, like the 20th video, you just don't care anymore. You're just like, I just gotta shoot these videos. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I did that too, and it was the first few were kind of like stilted and take a long time, but then once you started getting in a roll, and they just came cranking out.
That's awesome, Kathy. That's great you did that too. Yeah, I guess we kind of like get over those fears and kind of stop caring, like we don't care as much, and it just like, and I remember like even I shot some videos. There was one video I'll never forget I was crying in the video. It was like a challenge from Layla, and it was to share like your vision or something, and I started crying in the video. And then I was supposed to share it on Facebook, and I remember literally, and I was like so embarrassed. I was sat there like, you know, I had the video, and then I had to hit publish. and I couldn't. I sat there for 10 minutes. I wouldn't hit the video. And I was like, how can I post this on my Facebook? I'm crying. And then I remember I posted it. I was like, my stomach hurt. And I was just so scared. And then everyone started commenting, and like I think Layla started sharing it. And then all of these people said that they started crying, and then they shot their own video and they started crying, and like women and men. And then I remember thinking, like, you know, we're all so similar. You know, it's nerve-wracking to go out there and really share yourself and be vulnerable. But it really showed me and proved to me that I can go out and I can do that, and that other people are going to really like resonate with that. And it was just this really cool experience. I remember I got like 400 views, I think, within just like a day or two. And I was like the biggest like I'd gotten at the time. And it was so weird that I was crying. I just won't forget.
That's so similar to me. That's so similar. Like, well, yeah, there was one particular video I remember that I burst into tears, and I was saying, I was just like, oh gosh. But it was like, that's the one that just touched so many people, and I got the most amazing feedback. And the ripple, you know, I realized how much of a ripple effect me being vulnerable enough to be real had on other people, and how it was so uplifting for other people, even though it was really scary for me to share it. But it's amazing when you start getting that real feedback. When you start getting that feedback, Judy, just wait. Feedback when you do share your story more, then it's sort of just this. Yeah, the confidence increases.
Make a smoothie now.
We're about to go make a smoothie, so that's it.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. Yeah. It makes me too remember that from that point, it's like I remember shooting videos after that. I felt way more comfortable. I didn't cry in every video, but I felt more comfortable being vulnerable. And then that did transfer a lot more into our brand. And, you know, because I'm not pushy, I'm not like salesy in that way where I tried to be, but I'm just not naturally like that. I'm just how I am. And so that's what comes through in our videos. And so people always say, you know, you're so laid back and so pura vida, because we have like the pura vida life here in Costa Rica. But I'm myself, and I'm just like, I'm okay with being kind of, you know, if I make a mistake or something, I'm okay with saying it on video now, because I know that that's what people can relate to, because that's what people are also kind of, they're afraid of doing that on video, I think. And if they see someone else do it, then they can think, I can do it too. And I can share, and I don't have to be perfect, and I don't have to be like someone else. I can be like myself. So it's just really cool. And that's the power of sharing your story, right? Like what you're talking about, Via. And just kind of finding that place, and that you know, that thing to share, and keep sharing and keep sharing. And then as you get feedback and stuff, you really start to see that ripple effect, like Terry's saying. So it's really, really amazing. So before we wrap up, any closing thoughts, any last kind of thoughts about today? No one's reaching for the mute button. So next week we go to chapter 3, the expert calling and lifestyle. And we'll see you all. You know, everyone's welcome on the live Zoom. We'll see you next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. And thanks everyone for coming on. Really appreciate you. Bye.
Thanks, Kat.
Thanks, Alicia.
Thanks.